Hey guys, I'm Randy Unger, and this is another episode of Unger the Radar, where we talk all things film. And with me tonight, I have a wonderful panel of guest critics. I've got Erica A. Hello, Erica.
Hi, Randy. Glad to be back.
Yeah, glad to have you. It's been a while.
Well, it's been about a month, I'd say.
It feels longer. It really does.
Okay.
Uh,
Well, during the pandemic, everything feels like time is on hold, except it's
Yeah.
also moving quickly sometimes.
It's very, very random. But I'm glad you could join us tonight. This is great. Also, Matt Roran, long time no see, sir.
In a whole 12 hours.
Yeah. Welcome back for more. I'm glad you're a repeat visitor.
Glad to be here.
Yes, and the same I can say for Forrest. It's been a while though, but
Randy,
always welcome.
it's good to be back. Good to be back as always. I'll like to always be back on the show.
Awesome, guys. So let's start off with pandemic picks, what we're watching this week. I try to watch as much Schitt's Creek as possible as like basically background noise at this point. It's just such a great show.
I still haven't seen it.
Oh, I highly recommend it. It's really funny.
I'm kind of honestly, I will say right now, I'm kind of devastated that because they just announced it today that Kim's Convenience, which is also a Canadian Netflix show, they announced that they're ending it after season 4.
Oh, wow.
Netflix is notorious for their rapidly just cutting things because.
Well, actually, they're actually cutting. They're actually canceling Kim's Convenience because of COVID's putting a strain on the production. So they just decided to cancel it.
That sucks. But you recommend that show? It sounds good.
Yes. It was one of the first shows that I watched from beginning to end during the pandemic.
Oh, nice. Yeah, you always remember the first thing you watched pretty much at the beginning of the pandemic.
I think Schitt's Creek was probably the first thing I really binged.
Nice.
During the pandemic. Yeah.
Cool. Matt, what are you watching nowadays?
Right now I just started season 4 of The Golden Girls. I've been watching about a season every 2 days, but been kicking into that, which I will also then start Empty Nest as well.
I love it.
Gotta go with my spinoffs.
And last but not least, Erica A., what have you been watching lately?
Well, the excitement of yesterday, Pennyworth finally returned. You talked about things with the pandemic that couldn't shoot. Apparently they had cases on set, and so the show just abruptly had 4 episodes and then took a break, and so it finally returned with new episodes.
Oh, wow.
I've been glad for the Arrowverse to return, but that's a mess from the pandemic.
Yeah.
Full at least tomorrow night.
Yeah, I have not seen Superman and Lois yet.
I'm not a big Superman person, so I am not disappointed that it's going to be in the same time slot as Prodigal Son. I'm like, oh well.
Yeah.
Flash cut off in a weird spot last time, so it's just like back randomly.
Yeah. And with Superman and Lois, you've got I don't know his name, but the lead actor who plays
Tyler Hoechlin.
Yeah, he was the kid in Road to Perdition, right?
Which actually I was actually talking about that movie on the Inside Movies Galore podcast last week.
Oh, wow.
Along with Dick Tracy.
Awesome.
Well, Dick Tracy is a classic.
On the movie end of things, I've been watching Scott Pilgrim versus the World and From Hell, both of which I will be discussing on Inside Movies Galore tomorrow night.
So, rewatching the movie, or there's a new one?
Rewatching them. And then on the television end of things, I've been watching The Muppet Show on Disney Plus and American Gladiators on Pluto TV.
Cool. The original Gladiators?
Yes, the original American Gladiators.
With a
the
theme.
Only one worth watching.
Yeah, and the theme was written by Bill Conti.
Bill Conti, yes.
That was some prime sleepover TV when I was a youngin'. We'd always watch American Gladiators over at a sleepover.
I'm getting my action figures that are over there for American Gladiators.
You really have the action figures?
Yes, I do. I
is-
convinced my grandparents it was a good idea, and I don't know what they must have thought. Their little granddaughter wanted nitro and ice and all of them.
I forget there was like a blonde female bodybuilder on the.
There were several.
Almost all the female gladiators. Almost all the female gladiators were blonde.
Yeah.
And bodybuilders, I think.
But one of them was actually an actress as well. She was in the movie Skin Deep. With,
Maybe Zach.
John Ritter.
John Ritter. Thank you, Matt. So yeah, very random.
I know that Zapp and Siren had cameos in Hot Shots Part 2.
Yes, that's
And,
why I was thinking Zach,
and
because I
Diamond-
was like, I
and
know
Di-
she was in Hot Shot.
And
Yeah.
Diamond played one of the Penguin's goons in Batman Returns.
Oh,
Oh, she did?
Wow.
Yeah, she was the knife thrower dame.
Yep.
Okay.
Oh, the tall woman who kind of fades away when the Batsky boat is approaching.
No, she was wearing like the Native American headdress.
Okay. Yeah, she was
Well, as long as Viper never did any work again, because he was a terrible gladiator.
oh.
And also Malibu. He played Two-Face and Mr. Freeze's goons in the Schumacher Batman movies.
So crazy.
Oh wow. Well, I just remember Drew Barrymore and Debbie Mazar as Sugar and Spice in Batman Forever. No?
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay. Thought I was alone for a second. All right, guys. So we're all watching very different things. Sounds like it's a lot of fun in all of your places of residence. The TVs are definitely on, and I'm happy to hear that you're enjoying some great entertainment. So so we have 3 movie reviews tonight. As always, very different movies. But let's jump right into the first one. It's called Test Pattern, and it follows an interracial couple. And the girl basically goes out with a girlfriend to a bar, and they get a little buzzed. They meet some new guys. One of them has like gummy ecstasy, I think it was.
Yeah. It was some sort of date rape drug.
Yeah. And basically they both take the drug, and we follow the one girl who basically wakes up in the middle of the night. She doesn't know whether she slept with this guy or not. So the rest of the movie is her and her boyfriend trying to find a rape kit to see if she got raped and what the next steps are. I thought the premise was a little bleak, a little depressing, but the acting was fantastic, and it's something I expect in a movie of this nature. And I'm glad I saw it. It wasn't as much of a downer as I thought it was going to be, but it was very well made.
Yeah.
Very well acted. Forrest, take it away. What'd you think?
Honestly, out of every movie that we're talking about tonight, this is probably the only one that's going to get a recommendation from me. Because it was again, like you say, it was very well acted. I think it really shed some light on problems we have in this country. Problems we have in this country regarding healthcare, especially rape. Like issues like rape, healthcare, especially like healthcare for people and women of color.
Mm-hmm. There's a lot of themes going on.
Yes.
A lot of issues are addressed in this movie, and it's not even an hour and a half. I think it's less than an hour and a half.
It's only like 82 minutes.
Just over an hour.
It really gets to the point. It really moves at a good pace and gets to the point very hits all of its points immediately. Yeah.
And Brittany S. Hall, who plays the victim, fantastic. She's the best thing in this movie. I'd also say the same. Second best would be Will Brill, who plays the very supportive boyfriend in this film. He's so supportive in every step.
Almost too supportive.
Wow. Matt, what did you think? I'm curious.
I thought it was really well acted and well executed. I kind of like that it felt to me like an episode of SVU, but instead of going over the detective half of it, it was from the victim's point of view.
Right.
It started with like that opening, which is like the event happening, and then instead of just like cops investigating, it was them trying to get the fucking system to actually work for them, which is more realistic.
Yeah.
And going from hospital to hospital where they're like, we don't do that.
Yep.
And then they're like, go to this place, and that place is like, we don't do that.
Yep.
It's very realistic.
Yes.
And I've been through it a couple times with different things where they just keep sending you to different places.
Yeah.
And
the worst, man.
You don't really see that in movies and TV shows that often. So it's kind of refreshing to see it portrayed realistically, as awful as the realism is. And just how hard it is and how frustrated they are like how the boyfriend, like, is just like what the fuck, like, I just thought it was a pretty solid film.
You're right there with the characters and their frustration. Every step of the way, you feel like you're there with them, trying to get this damn
I'm
rape.
in that waiting room and I'm fucking
Yeah.
pissed. And then I go to get pretzels from the vending machine, and they just get stuck there, and I'm just shaking it and shaking it, and then I end up in jail. No.
Or you don't have enough change, so there's a lot of issues. But Erica, what are your thoughts here?
Okay. I wasn't a big fan of the movie. I liked, just like he was saying, that it felt like an hour-long TV show. It wasn't very long. It was really gritty, and it told the story well. It felt like it could have been a cop drama without the detectives, or it could have been like a premium channel, like a Starz or HBO or Showtime show. Their hour-long thing where the person this week went out with the girl and slept with someone and got caught up. But to me, I feel maybe because you're all guys, you were missing the point. It wasn't as much about it. It was about the question of gender and the states' rights problem of what America is at the moment. And I felt that was the message that the movie was trying to tell us more than anything. I mean, I liked the pacing. I didn't quite enjoy the movie that much, but I felt that the characters were relatable, the boyfriend and the girlfriend, from the watching them build the relationship to the halfway point where really it starts to turn. So, and
It's
then
like
you watch the turmoil of the white guy and the African-American woman who the hospital being faced with the question of, this is what we politically believe and we're going to ignore you, but we'll give you a list of hospitals that might actually consider this an actual crime.
I think they should have hammered down the political message a little harder.
Yeah.
Because it like you said, it's an extremely important issue in this country, and I think this movie did touch on it in a decent way, but they could have done it like really
I think
bigger.
also in this day and age, you have to be careful how political you get, because one false move and suddenly the internet goes off and the point gets lost a little too much in the other direction.
Right. So as a woman, did this offend you in any way? Did it move you in a certain way? Because it moved me. It was extremely powerful. The message that
I
came
mean,
across.
it didn't quite offend me. That's perhaps too strong a word, but something close to that. It really did make me upset with the medical staff characters, and it did make me go, if only they were in another part of the United States, they'd be in a place where someone would actually listen to them and stop dismissing them.
Now, where were they? Were they in California?
They were in Texas, I believe.
Texas.
Yeah.
Okay. So, yeah, it's a good message for the Texas political system, I guess.
Texas has enough problems with the political system right now.
It's a good message for the whole country, the whole world. When something terrible like this happens, I mean, the first thing you do is, I guess, go to the hospital, then the police. I would have liked to have seen more police involvement, but
I think it would have been the hospital's job to involve the police.
I don't know. So the movie it's pretty good, but it could have been a lot better if they decided to make better decisions, the characters, that is. But I'm glad we were reviewing it now, because like I said, it's a very important issue and it needs to be addressed. Obviously rape is a horrible, horrible thing, and this film, it really handles it delicately. And I think what we don't see is more terrifying here than what is actually on screen. So this poor woman, so she was portrayed beautifully by Brittany S. Hall, and again, Will Brill played the supportive boyfriend in this. So really good. Forrest, would you recommend this to anybody?
Yes, I would recommend. I recommend seeing it.
Cool. Mr. Roarin?
It's got my recommendation.
Very good, very good. Is this playing at the center, by the way, virtually?
I hadn't seen it listed. I don't think it is at the moment.
Okay, because this seems like like a smaller film.
Yeah, it does feel like something we would be playing. So
okay, cool. And Erica A., would you recommend this to anybody?
No, I mean, maybe if you're looking for something because it's a nice length, it's not overdrawn out, it's a positive, but no, it's just misses your radar. Well,
Gotcha.
mine.
You didn't even, what about the performances? Not a fan?
No, I thought the acting was good, and I believe the chemistry. They were good casting. It was not like you could see that and be like, wait, do they hate each other on set? The friendship looks real, and the
Mhm.
relationship looks real,
Right.
and the boyfriend performs anger very well, but I
Okay.
don't know. Just was missing that something.
Gotcha. So, all right. Well, I will recommend this movie, but I will put a disclaimer out there that it is a little bleak.
And
So
it is in
Yeah.
the virtual screening room at the cinema. So
yeah,
it is one of the films.
it's
So,
one of your films at the center. Okay, cool.
yeah.
Also, it is now out in virtual cinemas through Kino Marquee. And now Kino Marquee is through Kino Lorber, a great distribution company. They have been responsible for some fantastic documentaries, art films, and also older films that they've
Silent movies.
yeah. Oh my God, they're amazing. I actually interned for them a couple years ago in the publicity department. That was fun, and it's just a wonderful company. And it's whenever I get an email with one of their films, to review, I pretty much jump on it. Yeah, because I know I'm usually in for a really good quality film. So I'm really grateful for them and Test Pattern. So that's awesome.
Well, it
All
had
right,
good
guys.
production and good set design, and everything
Yeah.
looked like it was there.
Yeah.
Really nice in that way.
Yeah. And I don't know if it was shot during the pandemic because it was really just the two of them and then maybe three other actors in different scenes.
I'm seeing here that it was that officially. I mean, even though it came out this year,
Yeah.
I'm seeing on IMDb that was a 2019 film.
Oh, 2019. Okay, then never mind.
Hmm.
All right. But this could have been easily shot during the pandemic, I think,
That's
but
so true.
a safe production. But yeah, guys, Test Pattern is awesome. Really well made. So go check that out. Now we've got another depressing film. This one is called Cherry, and it stars Tom Holland as an army medic who's suffering from post-traumatic stress disorder, and becomes a drug addict and a bank robber after he gets back from battle. And it is directed by the Russo brothers, who are responsible for Avengers. Was it Infinity War and Endgame?
And Civil War,
Well,
and
yeah.
and they did Winter Soldier as well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I think Civil War is the first time we see Tom
Spider-Man.
Holland as Spidey.
Spider-Man, yes.
And now here he is in a non-Marvel movie, which is very, very serious, very dramatic turn.
And he has a mustache at
He
one point,
does.
Yes, I was actually
Little
thinking
bit.
about talking about
which
that.
I was like, I don't buy that you've got a mustache, mister.
Did you think it was CGI'd on like Henry Cavill?
Maybe.
That is CGI'd off.
As that was their
Yeah.
only solution to age him. It's like,
Pretty
oh,
much.
now he's older, he has a mustache.
Yeah, pretty much. But this movie Cherry, this is the Tom Holland show. It's pretty much all him. He's got some love interests in there as well, played by Sierra Bravo and Kelly Berglund. But yeah, we basically see a man who makes bad decision after bad decision, and the horrible consequences of basically coming back from war and becoming a drug addict and doing whatever's necessary to fuel that habit. And yeah, this movie, I believe, was 2 hours, 20 minutes, which was extremely long. I think it could have benefited if for a shorter runtime, it could have been a lot better. And that's like my main complaint, really. I liked Tom Holland's performance. It was nice to see him in a human drama. But yeah, what did you guys think, Erica?
Well, I mean, I thought that the actors were good. I thought the length was interminable. It was never going to end. It took me almost 4 hours to get it to play, with once or twice having to close out. And I was like, so I lost like 6 hours of my life to that movie.
Oh, sorry.
But I mean, I liked the person who played his female love interest. It's nice to see a Nick Kid person move up and really get to play a real gritty role, because she had been doing Nickelodeon shows, and I believe her major part was she was part of the Big Time Rush group. Not part of the group, but she was on the show with the group in every episode as like a main character doing the comedic parts. And so this was nice to see her still working past adulthood. You know, because it's so hard for so many people when they hit that point where they age out. The movie itself got so gritty at times, though. So
yeah, you didn't like the grit.
no, I mean it just. And I believe that it did the right job telling the story. And they picked someone who proved he had more chops than just being the third Peter Parker in the last so many years. As they keep getting new ones, hopefully they'll just let him play it out for a few more years.
I think they're gonna stick with him because he's proven to be.
And he's also said that he wants to do it for as long as they'll have him. So
That's great.
Yes. I mean, it's a book. Has anyone read the book? I know I hadn't yet.
The Cherry book? No, I have not yet.
He wrote it while he was in prison.
Okay. Interesting. All
And
right.
so I understand it had to stay true to the book, and I'm glad that it was long enough, because there's nothing worse than when you make a Hollywood movie from a book and half the book just disappears.
Yeah, that's.
yeah, I just watched Wolf of Wall Street after reading the book, and as much as like I love the movie, I thought it was a great movie. I mean, it is the same problem I've had reading and then watching Stephen King. Like I with everything, every movie, I've just been angry at what they leave out.
Why you have to watch the movie first, then read.
Well, yeah, most of them I've seen them already, and now I'm reading the book and rewatching them, and like there's so much that like they leave out. But what bothers me the most is when they add stuff, or they make like amalgam characters. Where it's like, oh, this is 5 characters in one person. Like, I'm just like, ugh. And the Wolf of Wall Street had a lot of that, and it drove me kind of crazy. Even though I really I still enjoyed the film, but
but your love for the film has slowly faded.
It's definitely gone down.
You know what it's supposed to be.
Yeah.
And it's just chopped right off.
Yeah, well, especially the weirdest part about that movie is that it goes beyond the book. Whereas, like, the book ends in a certain place, the movie goes further, which is like, don't do that. Like,
frustrating. That sucks. Yeah, no, I don't know why they do that, but they think that.
Yeah.
They do it so that you won't know the ending.
It would be like the way the book ends is like perfect for an ending, and like it's like I mean, yeah, it leaves room for like maybe another book or whatever, but it's like, you know, it's just a great spot to end. And then they're like kind of like,
well, movies and books, obviously, they're two extremely different mediums.
They are,
you know,
they really are.
But you know, movie studios basically like to just show us whatever is from the printed word, so it loses some translation in the process. So, Forrest, what were your thoughts on Cherry?
Oh boy, I felt like this movie. I felt Return of the King, Seven Samurai, and Godfather Part 2 all went faster than this. They all felt shorter than this movie, even though those movies were longer. And on top of that, I was having some problems with the movie watching it because it did stop a few times. So that which made it even feel even longer.
Damn. So you and Erica have had some bad luck with this movie. I'm so sorry, guys.
Yeah, I mean,
I don't plan on watching it again. So
yeah,
I mean, I understand
got it out of the way.
I understand that it's actually I think it's a good story to tell, but I'm pretty sure that the Russo brothers and Tom Holland all want to prove that they can do more than superhero movies, but this wasn't it. This wasn't the right vehicle. I feel like this was not the right vehicle for them.
Nice. Well, you're a filmmaker. You've dabbled in filmmaking. What would you envision as the ideal Tom Holland film?
Ideal like non Spider-Man Tom Holland film?
Yeah.
Oh boy, I don't know. I'm not sure. I mean,
you think you should get involved with trauma?
Oh god.
I mean, I could even see him as sort of like a young Tom Hanks almost, like just
Maybe, yeah, probably.
More like a Leonardo DiCaprio with the baby face, I'd say.
just do like a fun romantic comedy dramedy, and have fun with it.
I'm sure he'll get there soon.
Yeah, I think he's definitely more Hanks. Honestly, he strikes me more as as more of a young Hanks than a young DiCaprio.
Yeah.
Okay.
But he's a talented actor. I did like Cherry. I did think it was a little melodramatic, and
that was another issue I had with it too.
Yeah, it was a little much at times. And again, the runtime is ridiculous. It's 2 hours 20 minutes, if I'm not mistaken.
But it's just the pacing is just so bad. It's just so bad.
Yeah. And the chapters where they flash the title of the chapter.
That was actually one of my favorite parts. It meant I finally felt like I was getting closer. I'm like, oh, good, it's another chapter. We finally are moving forward a little.
I thought at chapter 3, okay, this is it. And then chapter 4 and 5.
Yeah.
Holland does his very best here, and I respect him for that.
Mm.
I think he has a brighter future ahead of him.
Yeah, and I agree. About the point about the mustache. It's like that's all he really did to age him up.
Yeah,
it seemed very half-assed.
And they changed his hairstyle in a few scenes, a few chapters, but that didn't really matter. I mean, he's just a young-looking guy, and it's just difficult to change his performance, his appearance rather. But Matt, would you recommend Cherry?
Yeah, I mean, I actually I'll be the guy out of there. I really enjoyed it. I thought it was really well acted. I didn't mind the pacing at all. I mean, it got a little slow, but I mean, I kind of like movies like that, I guess. I don't know. Being like an art film jerk off like me, I like boring slow movies. And also I like movies that show the dark side of the two things that I've never understood the mindset of. People who join the army, don't understand why anyone would ever do that. Or 2, take heroin. Two things I've never understood in my life.
So you're a fan of In the Army Now and Requiem for a Dream?
Requiem for In the Army Now, Three Kings,
Dead Presidents.
Yeah, I mean, there's actually, that's during the draft, so they didn't have the
oh, that's true.
Like, I've always been like pretty like anti-military. Like, I just it's like you're dying for someone else's oil. You're fighting for rich people. Like, it's not something that I would ever anxiously sign up to do.
Yeah.
I feel like if you do, there's a certain mindset there that's like, maybe there's something not quite right with you. Sorry, everyone that does. And it's just like one of those things where I really enjoy like movies about it, though. I don't know why. Like,
well, I can see you are a fan of 1917 behind you.
Well, back then it was different.
Yeah, true.
Yeah.
Anything World War II or before was different.
Right.
When you like now,
I'd say anything from the Civil War back is far more a better judge of it.
Yeah, right.
Because by World War I, you're already fighting for a cause.
Exactly. Yeah.
And you're not fighting with any visible sign of knowing where your enemy is. They already invented much.
And then when you get to modern wars, it's like, hey, this person attacked us. Let's go kill that other country instead. It's like, okay.
Yeah. And basically, Tom Holland's character joins the army because he's lost.
He's sad.
He's heartbroken.
Yeah.
The
girl broke his heart. Which, like, if he had just like waited a week, would have been fine, right?
Yeah.
So
I would have liked to have seen more of the military stuff in the movie, but we got a lot of the drug addiction too. I think the movie, again, it could have been shorter, it could have been tighter. The screenplay could have used some editing, but
I definitely think it could have been maybe 20 minutes shorter.
Yeah.
But I mean, overall, I thought it was really well done.
Yeah. Erica, would you recommend this or no?
No.
Yeah, another. It
was the only thing I would watch it for is to watch it while I'm watching something else simultaneously to be able to find. Oh, I lost his name. I kept Spider-Man. What's Tom Holland's brother, who apparently is now going to randomly appear with the exact same character in as many of his movies from now on. It
You
would
know,
be like finding Stan Lee in the X-Men, X-Men and
Horrible.
Daredevil and all
you
those.
know, that's
That would
funny.
be the
Yeah,
one thing I would want to do. I would watch it to be like, oh, let me see if I can find him. There he is, finally. Okay, I'm done.
yeah. And Erica, you're referring to Tom Holland. That's sorry, Tom Holland's brother Harry, who
Yes.
he does appear as a cameo as one of the drug dealers. So, yeah. All right. Forrest, would you is this
Skip
on your
it.
radar?
Skip it.
Skip it. Okay.
I think there's better movies about the psychological effects of
Hmm.
war in the military than this one. There's better movie. If I mean, if you're looking to, well, looking like at, like what Matt's saying about like the dark side of humanity, like the psychological impact of of joining the military or drug use. There's better movies out there.
Yeah.
I feel like there's movies that have told this story and told this narrative in a better way.
Yeah, I could think of one. It's called "Thank You for Your Service," which came out a couple years ago with Miles Teller as a soldier who I believe he also gets PTSD, and comes back home, and he's just like a total wreck.
I haven't seen him in a while. He started off so good.
Yeah,
Where's he been? I haven't seen Miles Teller in a minute.
Casualty of Fantastic Four.
Yeah, that's why.
yeah. What was that? That was 2017, right? 18,
2015.
Yeah.
15. Interesting. Yeah, he pops up randomly, but
yeah, I
Us
he
doing
put out a
small.
bunch of really good movies, and then just
yeah, I like it.
it.
I think he's talented. I want to see him
definitely.
again. All right. Well, guys, let's take a short commercial break, but we'll be back with more movie reviews right after this.
Under the Radar is brought to you by Magnitude Jewelry. Add a 2 to match your attitude. Patent pending interchange genuine gemstone and crystal EMF protection jewelry. For more information, please visit magnitudejewelry.com/gemgirl or call 718-268-663.
Hey guys, welcome back to the show. Randy Unger, Under the Radar, and our third and final film review of the evening. So basically, in 1988, we were brought to the wonderful country, African nation of Zamunda, and here we have the sequel to that. This is Coming to America. And basically, Eddie Murphy's character, Akeem, is next in line for the throne, with James Earl Jones' character as the king is slowly passing away. And Akeem learns that he has a long-lost son with Leslie Jones that when he went to New York, or Queens, New York, to be more specific, in 1988. And now the son is basically on the same quest as his father was in the first movie, trying to find a bride. And this movie, it's weird. I had high hopes, and at the same time, I had very low expectations, and it kind of met right in the middle. Like, they recycled a bunch of jokes from the first movie, which was a shame. There was not a lot of originality here, but it was very cool seeing Eddie Murphy and Arsenio Hall, Sherry Headley, James Earl Jones, John Amos back from the first movie 33 years later. And there's another actor in this movie who pops up with I don't want to ruin it. It's a wonderful cameo, but
Louis Anderson?
damn it. All right, fine, you said it. But yeah, this movie, it's fun. It's sort of funny. I did not think a lot of the jokes landed. There weren't even that many jokes, really. It was just a lot of eye candy, really. Beautiful sets, beautiful costume design. But yeah, it really wasn't very necessary. Like a lot of other sequels and remakes, this was just an unnecessary film, and that makes me sad because it had so much potential. Yeah, Erica, your thoughts on coming?
I'm thinking that one of the best parts of the movie was the part where they said out loud in the movie exactly what you said, that there are way too many remakes and unnecessary sequels from decades later, and that it's unneeded in Hollywood. And they're like, we know this movie is what it is. We're telling you it right on screen.
Yeah.
So you can't complain.
Yeah. I mean, it is a classic case of it is what it is. I totally agree with that 100%. Matt, your thoughts on this?
Well, I always go into these things with the lowest possible ever, which usually leads me to somewhat enjoy them. If I go in thinking it's going to be total horseshit, I'm usually pleasantly surprised that I'll get a laugh or two or something else. This movie, I thought it did have, it had that nice sense of nostalgia. Check, they did all the characters justice. They did them right.
Yep.
That was nice to see. There were no replacement characters, which is always great. Like everyone was there, everyone was on board, and everyone did it, which is almost never ever seen. And, like surprisingly, everyone was still alive.
Almost everybody.
Almost everybody. Yeah.
Except the Queen from the original.
Yeah.
Right. And
which at least it's like at age appropriate though. Yeah, where it's like, we're lucky that James Earl Jones is still alive.
I know.
To play a dying king.
Yep.
But and of course, much like the first Coming to America, it has a connection to Trading Places.
Yep.
Which is
please no spoilers, Matt. Please don't spoil that.
It's not really a spoiler, but it's like
it's
there's
an
a connection
moment.
in Trading Places. It's like an Easter egg that you'll know as soon as you see it.
Yep.
And if you haven't seen Trading Places, I mean, why the hell? Like, what are you doing right now? Go watch that movie.
What are you doing with your life?
You're watching us, of course.
Hey.
Yeah. It's like as soon as this is over, go watch that. Especially before you watch Coming to America, because it's great. That movie. They were like a year apart.
No,
Landis made
5. It was 5 years.
Oh yeah, that's right.
Trading Places Coming to America was 88.
Yeah. So it's great that he connected those two movies together. And then the fact that even this, going forward without Landis, they still like paid tribute to that.
Well, technically there were scenes in the movie that were from the first movie. So technically,
there's a lot there. That's maybe my one problem. Obviously, like the movie itself it's not amazing. I did enjoy it, but like there's so much like old footage in it, which it's like one of my least favorite things on TV is when they have episodes where it's like, remember that time? And they just show clips, like clip shows.
Well, I'll tell you, it works really well with like Cobra Kai. Strangely,
that's like, that's something I haven't watched, but
I recommend that, sir.
I'll get there eventually. But yeah, it's usually clip shows are just like, and half of this movie felt like a clip show. But I mean, overall, it gave me a little happy feeling inside, and that's all that counts. Yeah. I've definitely seen worse offenders of sequels like that come way too late. It wasn't Face the Music. It wasn't, that gave me so much more than I expected. And, this gave me a little bit more than I expected.
Right. It was a lot of, like I said earlier, a lot of eye candy.
Yeah.
I think the best stuff was seeing Murphy and Hall in the old man makeup in the barber shop. Like that's they could just make an entire movie on those guys, like running from the law or something, you know.
No, I don't know.
He's so stupid but fun. Yeah, again, I had somewhat high expectations, but we got what we expected. Forrest, were you entertained by this sequel?
I actually did watch the original right before I watched this one.
Smart.
So, and it definitely, which made this one look all the more worse.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I can't say. I mean, original was great. Is classic.
Oh yeah.
On a side note, on that note, I should have mentioned that if you see that scenes from the original were filmed literally a few doors down from my grandparents' house, literally. Like the McDowells, that was around the corner from their house, and there's a scene where his his love interest, his now wife,
Sherry Headley.
Yeah, Sherry Headley. She runs past a car wash. That was also right down the street from my grandparents' house. Anyway, as for the movie itself, it confirmed confirmed two things for me. Is that number one, this trend of belated comedy. I mean, there's a lot of belated sequels, but belated comedy sequels like, oh god, so there's this Dumb and Dumber 2, Anchorman 2, Zoolander 2. That coming out more than a decade after the original. They're never going to be good. Most and are probably going to end up just doing the same shtick as the original. And also PG-13 sequels to R-rated movies should never happen. Should not be. It
was a weird choice.
The things that was rated R for really aren't that rated R anymore. Rated R movies are so much more graphic and.
No, I mean the original had quite a bit. I mean, had quite a bit in the way of nudity and foul language.
A lot of foul language, just a bit of nudity.
Yeah.
I mean, a lot of it was just scantily clad outfits that were traditional.
And the profanity was laced throughout. It wasn't like, it was really well. It had great pacing, and it was very appropriate where the cursing showed up. Like one scene, like a classic scene, Samuel L. Jackson holding up the McDowells. Yeah. That was such an amazing scene, and with Jackson, you can expect a lot of cursing. So in that scene, that was appropriate.
I would have loved to see him show up and run the McDowell in Zamunda.
Yeah, well, we sort of got we did get an archival footage sequence, a scene of him.
Yeah,
but I know what you mean. Not the same. I think he had a conflict of schedule, so he couldn't appear in this. But
he's a lot busier as an actor now than he was when the original was made.
Well, yeah, I mean that was like
unknown back then.
Yeah, that was like one of his first roles, I think.
Yes, it was.
Wow. And I just want to do a quick little detour here into John Landis territory. This is one of my all-time favorite filmmakers. He completely crushed it in the 80s, late 70s into the 80s, and then he kind of fizzled out in the 90s, sadly, with Beverly Hills Cop 3 and
The Stupids.
Yeah. The Stupids is great too.
I'm surprised his career wasn't killed with the Twilight Zone.
Yeah, it nearly it almost got him arrested. He was almost in prison for that.
With Spielberg being like, I didn't see nothing. I'm out of here. Fucking running away.
Yeah.
It wasn't here.
So whoever's watching who doesn't know, when they filmed the Twilight Zone, the movie in 1982, released in 83, there was a horrible helicopter accident that killed 3 of the actors. One of the lead actors in one of the segments, Vic Morrow, and 2 extras. Child actors. I think they were in Vietnam, it was supposed to be Vietnam.
Yeah.
And the helicopter tragically crashed and killed them, all 3. And so after that, there was a huge investigation against Hollywood's practices of having helicopter stunts. And John Landis, who was the director of that sequence, faced a lot of legal issues. And he's lucky he did not get sent to prison for that, because that was a pretty horrific thing. Yeah, manslaughter, basically. Yeah, it is manslaughter. But he still kept making movies. Some of his best movies were after that.
Coming to
Spies
America,
Like
Spies
Us,
Like Us.
Three Amigos, Coming to
Mhm.
America. Beverly Hills Cop 3, a couple others, but yeah.
Actually, I think Beverly Hills Cop 3 was where it was he was going downhill.
But I love Beverly Hills Cop 3. I think that's one of my favorites.
Okay.
The first two are
It's my third favorite Beverly Hills Cop movie.
Okay.
Okay.
Fair enough.
Out of three.
I mean, I like it because it's Die Hard in an amusement park. I mean, you can't really go wrong there.
I mean, it's fun. It's
Yeah.
I think well, for me, I felt like the Beverly Hills Cop 2 really raised the bar on where that series should have gone. Like as far as where that series should
But
have
at least
gone.
it wasn't as bad as the later sequels of The Golden Child.
there were Golden Child sequels.
Were there?
But there was one.
No, they're not. No,
just one.
Golden Child was a standalone.
Yeah. That would be strange if they made that into it.
I'm like, whoa! I need to see those if they exist because that's what.
I know that was such a great time for movies.
What
and
a good
Well,
movie.
great time for Eddie Murphy.
Yeah, true.
Yeah.
Off of Saturday Night Live.
Oh, and also the same year as Golden Child was Big Trouble in Little China,
Yeah.
which also had like an Asian feel, like martial arts, and it goes to Tibet in Golden Child.
Yeah.
Very, very cool storytelling back then. Good stuff.
So you're gonna ask me what I thought of the movie?
Oh, sorry, Erica. What were your thoughts on Coming to America?
Well, I thought with the two most morbid movies that you could possibly pick, at least that was a welcome change.
Yeah.
Some of the science really bothered me. Like they're like hunting for a son. I'm like, just pull out a DNA test. Instead of this, we're gonna search for him by his picture, and then we follow the bird.
Thunderbird. Yeah.
Thunderbird. Thank you.
Thunderbird.
Okay.
With the religious guy who's like, follow the bird, and I'm like, okay, or just get a DNA test.
Oh, you mean the shaman played by
Yes.
Arsenio Hall? Or was that Eddie Murphy? No, that was Hall.
That was Arsenio. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes.
Oh.
But overall, I didn't hate the movie, I guess, as much as everyone else. And I didn't even hate the random old scenes that were slowly being placed in the movie at first.
Yeah.
It wasn't as bad as like Underworld 2, where half the movie is, oh, this is this fight scene, now we're going to continue it. It wasn't quite as tacky as that. If anything, this movie was sort of like the unnecessary fourth Indiana Jones movie for me.
It was very unnecessary.
Where you get the random new son you didn't know was your son, and you bring him with you, and you
not just that. They're saying that
Or Die Hard 4, right?
They're saying that he's his son through basically date rape.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
But I didn't mind the way we started at the bar again, and he's back in the supposed normal undercover Mets jacket. And then they went to the room, and I'm like, okay, you can't quite fake that. He doesn't look that young.
Yeah.
No matter what you do, but
True.
some of the movie was redeemable, and I guess my expectations went in really, really low compared to you guys. So that could have been why.
I like it for the sheer fact that it's nostalgia based, and it tries to continue the story 33 years later. But that's really about it. I'm also glad
the scene after the credits wasn't bad.
I do appreciate though that Eddie Murphy's trying to in some ways trying to get back to his roots, like because he spent pretty much from the mid '90s to the last decade doing family comedies. It's nice.
Or voiceover work.
Yeah,
it's nice to try and do more adult oriented comedy again.
I'm glad. I mean, I know that he and Arsenio do play multiple characters, but they don't hit you over the head with it with all the multiple characters like they do in the Nutty Professors or Norbit. It's kind of like spaced out a little bit and put in appropriate places in the movie, and it's not that annoying. And like I said, the barbershop characters are hilarious, and I wanted to see much more of those guys, So, guys, would you recommend this film? Would you see this with family members? This is sort of a kid-friendly movie, sort of.
Matt,
would you show this to your daughters, Matt?
I mean, eventually when I get, I would obviously want to show them the first movie beforehand as well as Trading Places. I mean, I'm not at that point yet because it's like, that maybe they don't follow comedies like that well yet, but when they're ready, maybe they want to see it. Fine. I mean, I'm not gonna go out of my way to show them this movie.
Gotcha. Erica, would you recommend it?
Yes, as long as you go in with low expectations and you're ready for it not to be anything over the top. It was fun in many ways. And so
Yeah.
I would say after you've seen Coming to America, the original, you could show it as like the sequel back to back.
Yeah.
Movie marathon day.
That's a great night. Like a double feature. I also want to mention
triple feature because you have to show Trading Places
that's
too.
true. That's true. Good touche. Also worth noting, Wesley Snipes has a pretty funny role.
Oh yeah, he was
great.
Enjoyable.
But again, I wanted so much more. They could have really ran with that character, but sadly they did not. Forrest, last but not least, would you recommend this?
Probably not. Probably not. I mean, it wasn't it wasn't horrible, but it wasn't great. But I mean, it definitely wasn't. I mean, it wasn't great, but it wasn't horrible. It wasn't horrible, but I didn't love it either.
Gotcha.
It's just I had a very mixed. I mean, to me, it was. I mean, was not the least unfunniest thing I've ever seen, but it just felt so underwhelming, or not even underwhelming, but it's just kind of there. It's just kind of there. It's not. It doesn't really do anything new. It doesn't do anything. It's not. I'm trying to how to phrase it.
I might have the answer for you. Where's the spoon?
Yes.
It's frustrating. Yes. Nice, Erica.
Okay.
This movie just makes me want to watch Trading Places all the more.
Exactly. It makes me want to go back and watch his older movies. Then
one of the things that it was like I went in with low expectations, but the one little bit of me that was kind of like higher than normal was that I really enjoyed Dolomite Is My Name.
Yes, Dolomite was my
name's director.
I thought it was so good that it gave me this slight hope that this would be better than it was.
Right.
But I kind of still pushed it down. But I mean, even that movie is it's by far the best thing he's done since the 90s.
Yeah.
I think prior to Dolomite, prior to Dolomite Is My Name, the last great movie he had was Bowfinger.
Yeah. That was
99,
98, 99.
99.
Yeah.
And I also think that was also Steve Martin's last great movie too.
Well, Murphy did a drama a couple years back called Mr. Church, which got a lot of acclaim as well.
Yeah, I didn't see Dreamgirls either.
Dreamgirls, he was nominated for Academy Award for that.
Right, that's what I'm saying. Wasn't that his last decent performance?
That was like 07, 08.
06, I thought it was 06, but yeah, although he was more of a supporting actor in that movie.
Yeah.
You don't really think of Dreamgirls as an Eddie Murphy movie.
But I know, but you're saying the last time he did something that was redeemable.
Yep.
I mean, hey, I like the Shrek movies, but I mean, I wouldn't count them as quality work for Eddie Murphy.
True.
Yeah, I mean, plus on top of that, that's the Mike, that's pretty much Mike Myers. The Mike Myers.
So here's a question: what if Mike Myers and Eddie Murphy did a movie live action? Would they
playing all the roles? I've thought of that before.
I like that idea, like a buddy cop movie where they or something.
Where they play every villain and every good guy.
And maybe invite Jet Li to play 5 characters too.
I like it. Erica, start writing that screenplay. We'll get it into production, okay?
Okay. I think I have drafts of it on my old computer. Yeah, that one and Pride and Prejudice, my sequel to it.
Maybe we can get Wesley Snipes in as a couple characters as well.
Perfect.
Or from what I've heard about the new Dynasty, get Elizabeth Gillies to play multiple roles too.
I love it. All right, guys. So Coming to America is currently streaming on Amazon Prime Video. And I wanted to mention this earlier, but Cherry is also out in select theaters. and currently streaming on Apple TV Plus. And another interesting trivia note, I'm just finding out now, Tom Holland lost 30 pounds and gained it back with within just a short amount of time. Guys, I just wanted to mention this week's coming attractions. First off is SAS Red Notice, action film. An army, well-trained criminals led by Laszlo Antonov have hijacked the Eurostar deep beneath the English Channel. So that's sounds like a relatively promising action film. Next up, I've been hearing about this movie for a while now. It's called The Unbearable Weight of Massive Talent, and it stars Pedro Pascal and Nicolas Cage, Neil Patrick Harris, and Tiffany Haddish.
I was just for Pascal and Cage. That sounds like
Is this the one where Cage plays himself?
Yeah, and there's a Tarantino movie involved where he's basically he wants to get cast in this movie.
Cage,
I need just for Cage and Pascal alone. It sounds like a very memeable film.
Here's a cash-strapped Nicolas Cage agrees to make a paid appearance at a billionaire superfan's birthday party, but is really an informant for the CIA since the billionaire fan is a drug kingpin and gets cast in a Tarantino movie. What the hell?
I'm all for it.
Yeah. Next up, we've got The Courier, thriller starring Benedict Cumberbatch, Cold War spy and his Russian source try to put an end to the Cuban Missile Crisis. All right. Next up, we've got an action crime film called Enforcement about two police officers who get trapped in a maze of buildings when unrest spreads. Next up is a Jeremy Piven comedy called Last Call. Also, Taron Manning of Orange is the New Black is in that. And Bruce Dern. So that's a very weird. Sherry O'Terry is also in it too. Kathy Moriarty. Yep, strange one. Got a crime comedy romance called Happily, starring Joel McHale. And last but not least, Phobias, which is a horror thriller about 5 dangerous patients suffering from extreme phobias. And basically they're monitored by the government in a testing facility. Weird. But back to Happily. It's a dark romantic comedy. Tom and Janet have been happily married for years, but a visit from a mysterious stranger leads to a dead body, lots of questions, and a tense couples trip with friends who may not actually be friends at all. Quite a list of what's coming, and it's time for plugs. Forrest, I know you're always busy, you're always doing stuff. What's going on with you?
Well, tomorrow night I'll be on the Inside Movies Galore podcast. We'll be doing a roundtable discussion of Scott Pilgrim versus the World and From Hell. Because our theme this month is non-superhero comic book movies.
I like that. From Hell was that was Johnny Depp 1999, right?
Johnny Depp and Heather Graham from 2001.
Okay.
Hughes Brothers directed, based on an Alan Moore comic.
Erica, anything you want to promote?
Oh no, production on everything is still on hold, so I'm just sort of here. But yeah, I'll start working on a new screenplay for you and tell you all about how, and neither one of them would ever do it.
I appreciate that. I look forward to it. Awesome. Mr. Roran, any plugs for you? The cafe?
Just Cult Cafe, still streaming on that old Facebook watch party on the Not So Secret Society page of Cult Cafe. And this weekend we are doing the 1983 made-for-TV film The Invisible Woman, starring Gilligan himself, Bob Denver, and Harvey Korman, as well as Garrett Morris and a few other people. So it's going to be a silly time. That's Saturday, 9:50.
I'll tell you, last Saturday's Author was really good. Nice. I love anything Pacino. Yeah, he's
prime Pacino, like back, before he became a character of himself. He was still like putting out quality material. Yeah.
True. 1982, right?
Yeah.
Awesome. All right, guys. So one more thing before we go, I just wanted to mention again, Hunger Ward, the new documentary about starving children in Yemen. It's a very important cause. So if you'd like to get involved and donate, you can visit hungerward.org and just click the Get Involved button, and you can also donate to hospitals in the Yemen area. It's a very important problem right now with the children there. And yeah, if you can help out in any way, please do. They need us. So guys, thanks again. Erica A, Matt Roran, Faris Bennett, you guys are awesome. Always welcome on the show. And yeah, I want to just tell everybody, if you want to watch new episodes of Under the Radar, just check it out on Manhattan Neighborhood Network every Monday at 11 a.m. Eastern. And I want to thank everyone for watching and listening right now. I'm Randy Unger. This has been Under the Radar. We'll see you next week. Take care.